Hello, welcome Venus TV viewers. It's today, Tuesday, 8 p.m. and it's time for the Tonight Show with Afzal Akram. We have a very special guest with us today, and I will tell you a little bit about our guest in a moment. But first of all, I hope you've had a fantastic week. I hope you've enjoyed the election fever that we're in, the first election that we have, certainly in my lifetime, in the month of December, cold, wintry moments. But remember from last week, I did say register yourself, get yourself ready for voting, and I hope you've done that and you're going to get yourself registered. But it's not about elections today. Today we're going to have a real fun conversation with somebody who I've been trying to get onto this show for the best part of 7 years, okay, to get onto the television and to share her. I'm going to say hers. I'm giving you a bit of a clue. Yeah, it is a lady. Yeah, I want to try and get her onto the show so she can share a bit about her life, where she's come from, where she is today, and provide an inspiration to many young ladies who may be watching this show, or to other mothers, or to grandmothers, I may even say, okay, to other people that, you know, you can achieve if you put the hard work and dedication in. So now you're wondering, who is this person? Yep. For us, she is a celebrity. Yep. For us, it's our very own Rukhsana Ali. Rukhsana, welcome to Venus TV. You're Venus TV. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Yourself?
Not too bad. But first question I really have to ask, how does it feel sitting in that chair in front of the camera rather than in the room at the back and directing?
It feels really weird. Really weird and nervous.
Weird and nervous. Well, look,
Weird,
relax,
nervous.
yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
As I say to all of my guests, yeah, there's nobody watching. It's just you and me having a conversation.
Yeah, sure.
all these viewers, these hundreds of thousands of viewers that are watching are just not there, okay? Now, relax, you'll be fine on there. But, Rukhsana, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
I know I've been badgering you for a long time to come on, because I know you quite well. You know, we've become friends over the years, and I know where you've come from, what you've achieved. And for me, it's an intriguing, interesting story that I think our viewers would like to share as well and listen to it. So
Lovely.
I'm gonna pull some of those secrets out of you in this
my God.
conversation as we're talking. So viewers, let's start. Rukhsana, a Pakistani baby or made in the UK?
Made in the UK.
Made in the UK. Where was home?
Bromley.
Brummie, you're a Brummie.
Yeah.
Where's the accent?
It's still there.
It's still there? Still get bits
You'll
of
notice it. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been in London now then?
32 years.
32 years. Okay, so Brummie being in London, so you probably lost, you really have lost that
I've lost,
accent now.
yeah.
You've been there a long time. Do you go back there quite often? Or?
Not much, about like maybe twice a year.
Okay, so born in Brummie. I
Born and
presume.
brought up in Bromley.
Brought up,
Yeah.
educated there,
Yep.
school, college.
Everything, school, college, that's it.
So, and after college, where did you go on to after college?
I ended up getting married.
You ended up getting married, okay,
Yeah.
so you got married at an early age then?
19.
Okay. 19, wow. So was that something that was something that you, young girls, I mean, I've got a 12-year-old daughter who talks about various things and so on. I'm not going to give you secrets, Zainab, so don't worry. Okay, they're father-daughter moments, and don't worry, not going to share those. But, you know, young girls grow up and they think they have a life plan, like boys do. I want to be a footballer, I want to be this. What was your, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, what was your ambition? What was your dream?
Oh, for me, everything changed. I wanted to be a teacher, then a nursery nurse, and then a nurse. Oh my God, I thought I was just crazy.
Okay.
So I did my A-levels, applied to university, and then I just didn't end up going to university.
You didn't go to university?
I didn't go.
Was that because your hero appeared?
Yes.
Your hero appeared.
Could
Okay.
say that, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so you got married at an early age. Mind me asking, was it a traditional arranged marriage, or were you guys seeing each other? Or?
It was 50-50.
Okay, which is the way it should be. You need to know each other. I
Yes,
think, as well.
definitely. Yeah.
Good. Well, Mr. Tahir Ali, I hope you are watching the show. Yes, I know you're in Pakistan enjoying yourself, but here you are. I hope you're watching, and hopefully you'll learn something that you didn't know as well about your wife as well. So, okay, so you and Tahir got together, you got married, carried on living in Birmingham? Or
No, moved here, obviously.
straight away you moved to... Because he used to be a cricketer, didn't he?
Yeah. When he was in the north, he played for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's played senior A level and semi-professional as well. I know, fast bowler, very fast bowler on that. So you moved down to London, obviously with Tahir, and did you work? Were you a housewife? How did
Well,
you
we travelled for
start?
a couple of months, 2-3 months we travelled, and then he had a leather garment business, and then we went into food and wine shops. So we always had our own businesses, and I've always worked with him.
Okay, so it's always been a family business that you worked
Always,
through.
yeah.
And has business been something that was of interest to you? I know you say you want to be a teacher, then you want to be a nurse and so on. And, you know, it's normal. Young people do change with time. I mean, I go to schools and I talk to young people. I've been for a number of years. And you know, young people come up with, I want to be... I've had people say, I want to be a dustman. And when you say why, they love the truck. They love the truck and the bright uniform they wear. Now, for young people, money isn't always a factor. Success is measured in different ways, but as you grow older, you appreciate things and then your views change as well on there. And so business was something you fell into naturally?
I think Tahir always did his own business. I can't see him working for anybody. And he's always said, why do you want to go and work for somebody else when you can work for yourself?
Okay.
Be your own boss.
Okay. And so you went through the leather garment business, you moved into groceries, retail, food shop, and then from there you moved on to...
Eventually telecom.
Telecom. Because they were the days when I think I bumped into you and Tahir at some event on there. So what made you go into telecoms?
Well, those days you used to get leaflets through your house, like low-cost telephone calls, and then, you know, we know that when we used to dial from BT, it was so expensive, and then there was this idea of having the call shops, and that's where it all started. Somebody mentioned that leaflets, people open their accounts at home, they can call through that internationally much cheaper. And why don't you start doing that, start taking commission? And I thought, well, how long am I going to work on commission? And then we came up with the ideas of actually opening the call shops. Okay. That's where it started. From the call shops, we went into phone cards, we went into residential service, and we just expanded.
Okay, so you're using the royal we here. So come on, be honest. Your idea or Tahir's idea?
Certain ideas, like when we had the call shops, when we had the call shops, we had a visitor selling phone cards, and he goes, "Why don't you keep these and get, you know, take your commission?" And then I said, "Why should we keep them? Why can't we have our own?" And then that's how the ideas expanded. Then the phone cards, and there was a big hype for the residential service. Went on to that.
Because I know you were one of the first who went into this telecommunication before you were first in, went down the telecommunication route and created your own telecommunication company, wasn't it? So
we did,
you had the cards that people used to ring out from, then you moved on to the phones
home service,
as well.
And we had the call shops as well.
So you know, I run business and my wife worked with me for a while as well. How easy, difficult is it working with your partner?
I would say it's quite difficult at times, but like we were like not always 100% together, because like call shops were in different areas. I managed some areas, he managed other areas. Then we opened the office and we kept him call center staff, and then we opened a setup in Pakistan, so he traveled a lot.
Okay, so
it's not always like day to day, you're 24-hour dots together.
And how long did you run the telecommunications business?
It's still running today.
It's still running today, okay.
But it's obviously with the competition and all the phones that really died down though.
Right,
died
okay.
down, yeah.
And then from there you moved on to Venus?
Yep.
Or was there something
TV
in between?
channel. Yep.
TV channel.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind? I mean, I know
it was his passion,
is
it was
media.
his dream, and then as I said, take it, because we all had a big studio in Pakistan, in Karachi, where like all the big TV channels would come and hire the floors to make the dramas, ads, and I used to travel there, and when we were setting up the call center and see all that, and he always wanted to open a channel here, and I said, go for it.
So it's one of those things where you, it was like the telecom, you said, well, we might as well do it ourselves,
yes.
and have your own rather than doing something with somebody else. And Venus TV has now been running, it's your 12th year? 13 years in December.
Month, yeah.
Wow, how time flies.
It does, indeed.
Okay. Well, look, I want to talk a little bit about, we'll talk a bit about the business side, on how you and Tahir work together, but I'm also keen to see how you mix and handle your business with your home responsibility, because I know you have two lovely children, both grown up now, mashallah, both married as well, and obviously as a mother you've been working throughout the business as well as raising your children. How did you balance that sort of lifestyle? The reason why I'm asking, because there's plenty of people watching on TV who are either thinking, you know, they're looking to get married and they're thinking, or they're in marriage and they're thinking about having children, or they have children, thinking about business, and you know, it can be daunting.
Well, downfall has been that whatever we did was like 7 days a week and long hours. So I always covered the morning, afternoon, and he covered the evening. I would drop my kids to school, I would pick them up, and once I picked them up, I would not go back. And I'm so glad the television came in once they all were in uni or graduated. I think if the kids were small, it might have been really difficult because it's not just like television, you're working 9 to 5, it's like 24 hours. And also with events, and you're covering events, you're attending events, it's very difficult if you've got small kids, very difficult.
So you were what I would term maybe the word typical isn't right, but I would call it a typical mother. You would drop your children to school, you would then come to work, and then you would leave, pick them up, which is what a lot of mothers do,
Yeah.
okay? Work the hours in between, and then obviously after you pick up the children, you would then spend the evening with them or however on there. Okay, and have you ever spoken to, I'm sure you won't mind me mentioning the names, Asad and Nika, yeah? Have you ever had this conversation about how they felt growing up while mum and dad were always at work or whatever?
I think they got used to it, they knew, they understood.
They understood it, got it.
yeah.
Okay, that helps on there. That helps certainly. So okay, let's come back to the work then. Let's come back to the work, okay? Because you know, you're working, Tahir's working. You said earlier that you know you did your own thing. So have you defined roles all the way through that you were responsible for X, Y, Z, and he was responsible for A, B, C, or were you doing a bit of everything, both of you?
I think both were really doing a bit of everything. The setup mainly in Pakistan he had to handle because I couldn't travel all the time because of the children. And I travelled every school holidays. In the beginning I took them, trained all the staff there, but then I control all the finance, all the admin side here. That's why I don't like coming on TV.
You like spending at the back?
Yeah, I'd like to stay behind the scenes.
She likes counting all the money. Okay, all right. So I mean, didn't that cause some friction sometimes? You both want to do the same thing, you know. You both have an idea. Who
Yeah, ideas
won?
are-
How did you resolve the difficulties sometimes?
We
when you
don't.
disagree?
Sometimes we don't. I mean, I put my ideas forward. They don't always match, and we have a lot of disagreements. We just have to like try to balance
Then you
it.
come up. I think it's a very point. I mean, in business, I mean, I remember my first business was in partnership with somebody, and my partner Abdul. I hope you're watching, Abdul. We've lost in touch, but I hope you're watching Venus TV, and we do catch up. But he used to be an optimist. Right? And I always used to say to him, Abdul, you're either going to be a multimillionaire or you're going to be bankrupt, because he would take some really big risks in ideas and what he wanted to do. And I was the type of person who would actually calculate, would take what I call calculated risk, and would look at, you know, what's the bonus, what's the harm, and where do we go. And so he would be up there with an idea. I would be down here, but through conversation, through argument, through whatever you want to call it, we normally would end up here, and so the business decision would be made in the middle, which actually most likely was the right decision, because maybe I was being too cautious and needed to take a risk, he was being too optimistic, he needed to row back, and so therefore when you got that, then usually that decision in the middle does help, and is the right decision for that. Okay. Now, I know media is a very intrusive industry sometimes, okay? And like you said, it's a 24/7, channels are running 24/7, and you go to a lot of events, I know, you and I go to a lot of events and so on. The TV station, when it started 13 years ago, to now, what are the major changes that you guys have made over that 13-year period to get it to where it is now? I
think we actually got it as a running channel, and we made all our changes. I didn't believe in partnership. I said, if you're going to do it yourself, otherwise I'm not interested. And we've like integrated with the local community a lot.
Okay, Rukhsana, hold that thought there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into a short break, okay? Then we'll come back and explore some more of this. So viewers, stay with us. We're going to go into a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll hear a little bit more. I'm trying to tease some of these, you know, fun stories. She's being very diplomatic, like a politician at the moment, right? But hopefully we'll get a bit more dirt on this. Tahir and Rukhsana working together. But no, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic story. So do stay tuned in with us, and I'll see you shortly. Welcome back, viewers, to the Tonight Show with Afzal Akram, and we are today talking with Rukhsana Ali, who is the Managing Director of Venus TV, And as I explained in the first part of it, it's taken me almost 8 years in persuading her to come on this side of the camera and actually be a guest on the show, because I think her story is quite interesting on how she's balanced her home life. She got married at an early age. She's got 2 lovely children who she's grown up, and she was also running the businesses with her husband. As you all know, Tahir, like me, is never shy. He's always on screen, and one day we'll do an interview like this with Tahir as well, and hear a little bit about his story, if you like. But let's go back to Rukhsana now and find out a little bit more. So Rukhsana, before the break, I was just going to actually ask you, Venus TV has now been running for 13 years. It's been your, I think it's been the longest business you've had between yourselves, yeah? Okay, and it's something hopefully will carry on for some time, because you both seem to be settled, you're enjoying, and any business, if you're enjoying it, it doesn't become like work. It's a bit like a hobby. But TV must have changed over that 13 years. Did you start a new station? Did you buy a station? How did
we took over a station.
You took over, and then you rebranded it into Venus?
Yeah, we changed the name to Venus TV.
And so tell us, certainly I didn't know you then, I didn't know Venus TV then. What was Venus TV like 13 years ago? What sort of shows did you put on? Where was it?
There weren't many shows. They were like mostly music or some dramas, maybe a couple of movies. Maybe 1 or 2 live shows. I think where it was situated, it was restricted studio use, and we had to virtually move from there, because our people, they never turn up on time. That was a studio you had to book. You had to get in at 7 o'clock, get out at 8, and if you're there 7:30,
so Asian people haven't changed. They're still, stick to their Pakistani Indians. You say 6 o'clock and they arrive at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so you always say no, come 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we shifted here, and we've been here ever since.
So you've been here that long?
Yeah, we were there in that building for 6 months in Hanger Lane.
Okay.
And then we moved here.
Right. And so over that 13 years, I mean, how many Asian channels were around in
There
those
were
days?
not many that time. I mean, obviously that time I didn't take interest in Asian channels, because me being born and brought up here, I didn't watch Indian films, and I didn't start watching Indian films till a lot later after I got married. And when they used to watch, I just used to go upstairs and go to sleep.
I mean, it's not too dissimilar to maybe the children now, our children or our children's children, if you like, okay? And so I'm going to come to you on how Venus hopes to try and get that audience, because, everyone's got to go one day, and the older generation will die off, and unless the Asian TV channels change, I'm not just talking about Venus, I'm talking about the whole industry, and appeals to our young people, it's a bit like newspapers, it will die out. I'm sure you will transform, and we'll hopefully hear some of the ideas, and I know I've been discussing with you behind scenes for a number of years on what sort of things can be done. But let's talk about that first 5-year period in TV. What did you find as the hardest thing in adapting to running a TV channel, as opposed to sitting at home watching a TV channel, should I say?
Well, the amount of work that was involved. And you had to, for us, because it was all new, you had to learn it all. And we had a good team behind us, but it was difficult in the beginning, very difficult. And especially when you're running a TV channel 24 hours, no break, and you've got live shows going on at the same time.
So, do you have plans if presenter doesn't turn up, okay, or get stuck or whatever? What are the plans? Let's learn a little bit behind the scenes. What are your plans?
Well, we do get presenters that don't turn up, either they run late.
Right.
There's always a backup there.
There's always a backup.
There's always a backup.
There's always a backup. Okay, that's good planning. That's good planning. Okay, so the Venus TV was running. You ran it for a period.
And over the 13 years, like, so many channels have come in. So many have come from Pakistan, India, mainstream. And so many local channels have come and gone as well. But now, at the moment, there is a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition in the market.
So how do you define yourself then with the other channels? What's your market?
I think we're different in the way that we're local, and we cater for the local community. We have a platform for live shows where people can come in, like on your show. Someone you can interview, they can talk about their life, what they've achieved, and that is a difference. I mean, we play music, we play movies, but our main concentration is concentration is on live shows, and we also cover local community events. And we just don't cater for one religion, we cater for all religions. So we've had live Diwali programs, Vaisakhi, Eid. Over the years, you name it, we've had everybody over, from magicians to singers.
I mean, that is something I have found. I mean, I've been doing a show with Venus for a number of years now. One of the reasons why I did do a show with Venus is because it was a channel that was open to all. It wasn't marketing one community, one religion, one sect. It wasn't even just an Urdu channel, yeah? It was an English, but, you know, you can do it in Urdu, Punjabi or English. And some of the conversations I had was, because I used to be a counsellor, as you know, and it was very interesting for me that the community have a platform to air their views. There's lots of difficult conversations that sometimes as a community we struggle, but if you hear something happening on the television, I know I've done it with my children. We're watching particular programs on television, and my children have said, "Daddy, what's that?" or "What's that?" Or I've said, "You better not do that," or "Why do you think they do that?" It gives you an opportunity to have some of those difficult conversations which we sometimes think are taboo in our community, or we're embarrassed because our parents haven't had those conversations, whether it's a sexual nature, it's drug use, it's a whole heap of other issues that, you know, as a community we've got problems with, you know, marriages and so on. And so what we use, and I know Venus have allowed, certainly from my show I can say, is they've never really stopped me putting on any topic, and my regular viewers know that I've spoken about lots of difficult topics about empowering women, about first cousin marriages, and a whole heap of other, domestic violence, young people, crime, and these issues as a community that really affect us. And I really want to say thank you for that, because as a channel you have enabled those conversations, where a lot of the so-called mainstream channels, they just concentrate on what I would term ratings probably, and they just go for the films and they go for the dramas and so on. I mean, there's a place for that, don't get me wrong, everyone watches them, I'm sure you do as well, but there is a niche where we need to look at engaging with it.
I mean, I prefer people to come on board and talk about mental health awareness, domestic violence, the topics that, especially in our Asian community, are mostly hidden, or people are too scared to talk about.
You said it yourself before that you had to learn, you know, you had to learn about the industry, if you like, yeah? I'm just going to just roll back a little bit. You know, you said earlier that you left college with A-levels.
Yeah.
Which A-levels did you do?
3 A-levels, English, sociology and economics.
Okay, so you did do economics, so there was a bit of a business.
I dropped it
sense.
halfway.
You dropped it halfway, okay. But you did learn enough to have the gist in it. And therefore, you know, what do you think you've learned through this career in business? How has it changed you as a person from that shy 19-year-old?
I think I'm still shy. I'm so nervous here, sitting here shaking.
Now you know how the guests feel.
Yeah, I know. I'm still shy, but I feel a lot more confidence. I mean, now when I go out to events, go into a crowd, I feel I can talk to people. Even like, you know, obviously most people you meet are strangers, and you could just talk to them.
They're normal human beings. They have a conversation.
Yeah,
they
just
all
get
went
on
to
with
school,
it. Where
they
one
all
time
work.
I just like stay away or just hide in the back.
So Roxana, I want to talk a little bit about going forward now, about Venus TV. Obviously you've started it 13 years ago, you've grown it. It's an achievement you're still in business, because I know a lot of channels have come and gone, if you like, and you are competing with some big boys who've got some real big money behind them, and they're mainstream channels. So what sort of ideas have you got going forward for Venus in order for it to change the same way as the community is changing?
So moving forward, we want to engage the community more. We want to bring in programs for the youngsters more. We want ideas from our presenters. And in order to do that, we need the viewers to tell us what they want.
Okay.
What they're looking for,
Viewers, the managing director of Venus TV has given you an open invitation, okay? So, you know, do call in, send us your ideas. It doesn't have to be during the show. It can be any time that you think, you know. What sort of programs do you want? What sort of presenters do you want? What sort of guests do you want? Do you want to come on as a guest, you know? I have no issue, certainly on my show, and I know my fellow presenters will have no issue talking to community people as long as you have an interesting story about something, yeah? A community issue, a personal experience, you've achieved something that you want to share, write into us, call us and tell us, look, I think that this will be good, and we will look at it. And you know, Roxana said that they want to do that, so I'll hold her to that, and we will get more people in from the community.
Yeah, they can email us on info@venustv.tv.
There you go.
So
And at the
send
end of the
their
show,
views on it.
we'll put the emails and numbers up for everyone to take down and do that. And like I say, it doesn't have to be during the show. It can be any time. You know, I know some of the things when somebody asks me a question, I usually go blank, and 10 minutes later, I think of, oh, that was a great idea. Why didn't I say that? So, and the same thing. Right now, you're probably thinking, well, there isn't anything, and later on, you know, you'll be making a cup of tea or brushing your teeth and think, you know what, that's a fantastic idea. I should let them know. And please do that. Do let us know.
So you're sitting there, you're not nervous? I mean, you've been doing this for such a long time.
I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you've asked me the question. Normally, I do the question, so it's you know, it is nervous. Even now, every time I do the show, I do get nervous. Okay, but it's one of those things that when you do something so often, it's like when you're running the channel behind the scenes. Yeah, every day is a different challenge.
Yeah.
But you face that challenge because you've done it so many times and you get through it. My difference is that I'm not on my own in my office. I've got a couple of 100,000 viewers there, so that if I do something wrong, they see something wrong. So it's about preparation, I think, more than anything else. It's about being prepared on who your guest is going to be, what the topic is, and talking to them. And I think you've got to naturally have some sort of a skill set of being able to have a conversation. And if you're sociable, which I know I've seen you out and about events and so on, I think if you're a sociable person,
That's different.
if you're a sociable
Different,
person, then I think you can have that conversation. But yeah, no, it's always nerve-wracking. You know what? Nerves are a good thing. Nerves are a good thing. Every time I stand up, and you know, I do speeches and things because of my political work
Talking
as
about
well.
speeches, I remember in April I was called to this conference in Cyprus, and the condition was that I had to do a speech. And I was saying to them, anything I want to get out of the speech. And I wasn't allowed to. I had to do a speech in front of I don't know how many women. There were about 80 women, and I was absolutely shaking.
There's 80 women from around the world shipped in for a conference.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a break now, viewers, and in the final break, we want to talk a little bit about Rukhsana's personal life now and how she handled that alongside the business, and also how she's been to some awards evening, what sort of awards they won. And I know she was really, really scared of speeches, and she did make a speech, and we'll talk a little bit about how she got over those nerves as well. So stay tuned in, and we'll see you shortly. Welcome back, viewers, to the final segment today. This is the Tonight Show with Afzal Akram, and we've got our special guest with us here, the Managing Director of Venus TV. It's Rukhsana Ali. It's taken 8 years to get her here, and she's sharing some of her story, some of her lifestyle, how she got to where we are, a bit about Venus TV. You know, before we went to break, we were talking about me getting nervous when I get up still to make speeches, and I've been doing it for a long time. And leading from that, Rukhsana was saying that, yeah, I made a speech recently. And I know, knowing Rukhsana, she was nervous about that speech because she spoke to me about it as well. But Rukhsana, you were invited to an international women's empowerment event,
conference. Yeah?
Where was this?
This was in Cyprus.
In Cyprus.
Yeah.
And why did they invite you?
They invited me because they wanted me to talk about my life, and they had about 100 women from all around the world who came and spoke about what they've achieved in life or what they're doing or their work. And I was saying, my thought was, what I'm going to talk about, I've got nothing to sell. I've just probably got the channel to promote. And then they recommended that I talk about my life, how I grew up, got married, ran your own businesses, and where I am today.
Okay, and did you do that bit like you are today without notes, just talking,
No,
or was it a written speech?
Notes.
You did
it was
with
quite a long speech. I did it with notes.
Right.
I was actually reading off notes.
Well, look, you know, a first speech, I remember my first few as well, and even when I was presenting my first couple of shows, I actually had notes and guides down, because you know, when you're doing something new, nerves are there, and the last thing you want to do is forget.
Luckily I was like the third one on. After that, you see some women with a mic in the ear walking up and down, so confident.
Yeah.
But they do it for a living as well, so
Yeah.
you could understand.
Yeah.
And there was me like doing it for the first time.
But how did you feel? Did you enjoy the experience?
I enjoyed the experience. I made a lot of good connections. A lot of diverse women were there from all over. It wasn't just the Asian community. I was there for like 4 days.
And has it made you a stronger woman coming back, having learned from those experiences?
I think, yeah, stronger and confidence.
Confidence has gone back. So one of the reasons why you're on the show today, then. Hopefully.
I think so.
You
No,
think
that's,
so?
that's your
Okay.
fault. You made me come on.
No. Look, it is part of a journey, and we need to sometimes challenge some of those challenges that we have, whether it's nerves, whether it's being shy, talking in front of people. Until you do something
Yeah.
about it, you really know how. You don't know how
And
you.
a lot of women came up and they praised me a lot.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to do another one next year.
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
should maybe hold one in London, and you invite. all
I
these
think
women
they are
around.
hoping to do it in London next year.
The reason why I'm saying is because, like I said before, I talk to young people in schools, and it's very difficult for young people to find role models, especially in the Asian community,
Yeah.
because in the Asian community, we are either too boastful and we think we are the best and we've done everything and nobody can do anything we like, or we're actually quite shy, we keep quiet, we don't share anything, we think we're no special. And young people don't see that, and until young people see successful people, they will not aim for that ceiling. You want them to go there, and I'm hoping there's some young women there looking today and thinking, well, hold on, I could run a TV channel, why not? I could make a film, why not? I could go to a conference and speak in front of so many people. And the answer is, yes, you
Yes,
can.
you can. Yeah.
Yes, you can, try, try there. Yes, you
Yeah.
can. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about the balancing. We've spent most of the show talking about the business side of it because that's what you've spent time on, whatever. But, you're a young grandmother.
Of course.
Okay. And how many grandkids?
2.
You have 2 grandchildren now, mashallah. And, how does it feel being a grandmother with young children to being a mother with young children? Is there a difference?
Well, I think the grandkids now, we can give them more time than we did for our kids. Like with our kids, it was work, home, working 7 days a week, where now I don't work weekends. I spend more time with my grandkids. And I think the advantage these days the grandkids have is like a lot of us, like I drive, I go out a lot. When my parents couldn't give that to my kids. I take me and my granddaughter are really close. I take her everywhere. I even take her to my gym.
Oh, okay. So you spend a lot of time with
I
her, and
do.
it's planned time,
Yeah.
and suddenly you realise that you can take time off from work, whereas
course,
before you're
yeah.
thinking, no, if I
Work
take
around
time
it.
off, it's going to fold, but it carries on, you work around that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know in my own scenario, when my parents were alive, I used to actually say to my parents, why you're different with my children than you were with me.
Yeah.
And I remember my mum saying, beta, wait until you have
Till you
your
have your grandkids,
wait until you have
yeah.
your grandkids, and then you will get the answer to why we're different with the grandkids. And it's a different experience, and inshallah one day
And
we
also
will
we
experience
like
that.
balancing. We also have more time on our hands. Especially, I think technology has played a big factor. I mean, sometimes I don't need to come in. I can work from home, check everything on my laptop, and give more time to do some social work or something.
Okay, and if you now had a time machine, so Roxana, going back to, you're a 19-year-old now. Let's assume your marriage with Tahir has happened. We're not going to change that. That's happened, okay. Are there any changes that, if you had a time machine now and took you back to when you were a 19-year-old, you've got married, and from that point onward, would you make any changes up to now?
I don't think I will. I've got a good husband. I've had a good life. I've got 2 grown-up children, educated, and you don't really need, I think, to go and have a degree to be successful in business. You can still achieve that.
So your core message, as opposed to, I say young women out there, but to young people, is that, it's not all about university. It's about doing something you have a passion for.
Yeah.
It's about working hard and not giving up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there were challenges along the journey. and
There
you
were.
just
I
gotta keep
mean,
going.
I would probably would have been helped if I had more help or more help at home, and things I've done, like probably my daughter-in-law, my daughter would do things differently with their children. But that's with time, how time changes.
Okay, that's how time changes on there. You've already mentioned that you have decided now that you will spend some time away from the business, and you realize the business can carry on without you being here. As someone who's run a business, I remember the first time I was away. It's a bit like leaving a baby at home. Yeah, you think you're going to be away and it's just going to crash and everything on there, but you have a good team around you.
We have a good team. Ours is not a baby, so the team, when we travel both together, I know I've got the team, I can rely on them.
You guys have more holidays and we have hot dinners now.
I-
You and I are always away.
And then obviously the internet's there. You can check everything. You can monitor everything, and it's not so bad.
And I mean, you've mentioned internet and technology a couple of times. How do you see technology changing now going forward? How's it going to change our lives?
I think it's changing. It's getting rid of all the manpower.
Getting rid of manpower.
Yeah.
Is that
At one time when I had 15 staff, I've come down to 3.
Okay.
It's all like, obviously you have to invest. Over
Yeah.
the 10 years we've invested,
Yeah.
we've got new equipment,
Yeah.
and that manpower is not
Yeah.
needed. And you don't need anybody here sitting here 24 hours a day. Anything goes wrong, you get a phone call straight away
Yeah.
to your mobile. And
Now-
you just log in and reset everything.
Now
Although I
that-
sometimes wake them up to do it.
But you're monitoring it now rather
Yeah.
than doing it. And I know you say we're down to 3 staff, but that's 3 staff employed. But
Yeah.
there's a whole team of people where you've got contracts where they're looking over various
Yeah,
things.
we have, and
rather
then
than
we've got
directly
set up in
employed.
Pakistan. We've
Rather
got
than-
about 12 employees there.
Right.
They overlook everything as well.
So with technology, you can be based anywhere in the world.
They
and do
log
that.
in, they can log into here, they can do live shows from all over the other cities. The only live shows that have to be done here physically with the staff here is the ones here. They remotely can log in and do the shows from Birmingham, Manchester.
And as a channel, you offer that, don't you?
Yeah, we
going
do.
forward.
Yeah, we have studios in Birmingham,
Yeah,
Manchester.
I mean, you have to evolve and you have to move forward as a person. So, we're coming towards the end of the show soon. But so, Rukhsana, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time, maybe? Have you thought that far ahead? Do you take each day as it comes?
I haven't
as a
thought
person,
that
tell us a
far
little bit about as a person. Do you plan things? Are you?
I do plan things, but I haven't thought that far ahead.
So, how far are you thinking? What are you thinking? Are you thinking next week, next month, next year?
About at least a month.
A month ahead at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you'll still be in business for as long as possible?
As long as
or is it
possible,
something that you've made a certain amount of money, you've got a comfortable lifestyle?
I've got
and you just
comfortable.
wanna
I'm not
retire?
just like
You wanna
Venus.
retire.
I mean, I don't just totally depend on Venus. I mentioned this a little bit. We also have quite a few properties which I maintain and run, and I handle all those.
Okay.
That
And-
takes up quite a long time as
okay.
well.
So a few bit of personal questions now, yeah, just to get a feel of what Rukhsana's like. Are you a sporty person?
Not really. I just enjoy the gym.
You enjoy the gym. Are you
That's
you're
one of my
regular
hobbies.
going to the gym, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I am,
A regular
yeah.
person, right? And what sort of car do you drive?
I
You
drive
don't have to give us a number plate. Just what sort of car do you drive?
a Merc.
You're a
I think
Merc
I've only
woman.
driven a Merc for 20 years.
Okay, it's always been a Merc, yeah?
It's always been.
Right. And are you a designer label person, or are you if I like it, I wear it?
If I like it, I wear it, but a bit of both. Something like whatever suits you. Even high street could be just as good as designer. So if I like something, I'll pick it up.
Okay. Well, let me, before I close the show, and I'm going to invite you to talk to the audience, what advice would you give to a young 12-year-old Rukhsana now, maybe sitting with mum watching TV, or even a 21-year-old newly married Rukhsana sitting there watching, thinking, what can I do with my life? I've got married now.
Okay, my advice would be like, go out there, get your dreams, achieve, whatever's your passion. You can always work around your time, schedule, everything fits in. Like for me, I go to the gym, I work, I'm out in the evenings, I have a big social life. It's just not just all media events, and I still manage time, just managing it.
And I know we've spoken mainly about you, but in order to do all that, I'm presuming you need a supportive partner.
Of course, of course.
You need a supportive partner
Yes,
to do that as
definitely.
well. Okay. Well, look, Rukhsana, from my perspective, you've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you.
You haven't been nervous like you're saying on there. You've been natural, as I've known you for a while on there. I hope viewers have enjoyed listening to Rukhsana, and we'll get back on again at some point and start delving a little bit more about what she was talking. And Tahir, if you're watching, definitely it's your turn soon as well to hear the other side of the story. On the show, but the main purpose for today, viewers, was to actually share a story of somebody who was born in the UK, brought up in the UK, married at an early age, a traditional marriage, if you like, but then working with her husband, and it's not very easy sometimes working together with your partner, because not only are you at home all the time, but you're actually together at work as well, and then you go to events and you're together as well. So there's got to be something that's connecting you in order to get through all that as well. But it's about achieving your dream, as Rukhsana said. It's about achieving what you want to achieve, and not letting somebody say to you, you can't do that, you won't be able to do that. If you think you can do it, If you're on your own, then obviously you get on with it. If you're married or you have a partner, then obviously you discuss with your partner and see, how they can be supportive. Are you going to do it together? And I know Roxana said earlier she doesn't believe in partnerships, but you know what? She's had a long partnership in business. It just happens to be with her husband, not with somebody else. So it is a partnership. It is about giving and taking. But more importantly, it's about following your dream. It's about not giving up, and it's about achieving what you want to achieve. So on that positive note, I'm going to say goodbye today. This was the Tonight Show with Afzal Akram, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.